Mario's with Korea, and I can't remember who the other one was, but the biggest part of that was Joe Sakic now is playing with the two youngest guys. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I wonder how he feels about that. He comes over and he goes, "Hey, you two young bucks, I'm excited to play with you guys. We're going to be a great line. I love your energy. Let's go do this." Just for him to realize that, and that for the young guys, and he went on to have an amazing tournament. He won the MVP. Mario's line was great, but playing with Joe, our line was good too.
Down left side is Sakic and Gagne. Sakic pass in front, score! Iginla going to the net. It is Canada 2, USA 1. And down they come across the line, Sakic and Yzerman. What about this duel? Shot! Score! Goal, Canada! Goal!
How about Sid still doing it at this level? Pulling it off in the first game of Four Nations, getting 3 assists. Similar to your situation from 02 to 10, Sid's, from 10 to 25 is definitely different. What about his game? And then on the back of that, can you just tell us too what the difference is coming out of this Four Nations of putting on Team Canada jersey compared to playing in a Stanley Cup final Game 7? What those two, how those are different?
Oh, okay. Firstly, the Sid, like what he was able to do, and he reminded me of like what Mario did, in 02, 04 at the World Cup. Sid 37, being able to be out there, and he's not as fast as he once was. He's not, McDavid and McKinnon are flying around. You can just see it's easy and everything, but he is so smart and so competitive, and you can see his brain and that the impact he still has, and how good he was. It was as a hockey fan, to be able to see Sid, McKinnon, McDavid all on the same team, and all still not like he wasn't hanging on. He was leading, so it was pretty awesome. And that's what Mario did in 02. He came, and it was kind of funny. I look back, I couldn't believe it, because when I was younger, I never thought he was 36. He was 36, been through his health issues, been away from the game twice, I think, came back, and he was the best player on the team. We would do one-on-ones. As you guys know, one-on-ones in practice, nobody beats anybody. You can almost put a forward there, a straight one-on-one drill, and they could stop each other, right? Yeah. But Mario could go, and he did it more than once, and he's the only guy that could go and just burn the D-man. Just burn him. And I'm not going to bring up who it was, but some pretty darn good defensive slugs. Yeah. And, this is that Hockey Canada team, right? And so I said, Mario, like, how do you do that? He's like, oh, yeah, all you do is just wait till they turn their feet, and you just put it through it. Right. A little different. He's 6'5", big reach, fast, but it was that easy for him. And 36 years old, he was still whoever's line he was on at the start of the tournament. You knew was like the first line. And one story I'll say about leadership and Joe Sakic. Myself, I was one of the youngest guys. Simon Gagne was the other youngest, and Ryan Smith was a year older than me. We got there, our first day, we got crushed by Sweden, just crushed in the first game, and fans are upset. Canada's upset. We're like, come in for our meeting, and you would never know it. Mario, Joe, Yzerman, they're fine. It's just part of hockey. They're in a good mood. But the lines went from the first day. I was playing with Brendan Shanahan and Yzerman in the first game. I'm thrilled. Whoever I'm playing with, it's like a video game. It's awesome. And then Mario's line was Mario, Joe Sakic, Paul Kariya. That's the first line. You know what I mean? And like, that's pretty impressive. So we do our meeting, and then the lines come out, and my line now is Joe Sakic and Simon Gagne. And, Mario's with Korea, and I can't remember who the other one was, but the biggest part of that was Joe Sakic now is playing with the two youngest guys. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I wonder how he feels about that, So he comes over after the meeting, Joe comes over, and we're just, Simone sat near me. We sat in the kids' corner kind of thing where they put the youngest guys. And he comes over and he goes, "Hey, you two young bucks, I'm excited to play with you guys. We're going to be a great line. I love your energy. Let's go do this." And so right there, he like the leadership that you get from that is that he knew we were feeling that, like I was. If he didn't want to like make me feel a little more comfortable, I probably would have been like nervous, always pass, what I mean? And just for him to realize that, and that for the young guys, and he went on to have an amazing tournament. He won the MVP. Mario's line was great, and but playing with Joe, our line was good too. So it was really cool, and that was something that you when you go as a young guy to these things and you see the way people work, you see the way they carry themselves. Mario, Yzerman, Sakic, it's such a privilege to get to be a part of it because you learn so much. And a big part of it is those guys aren't just born that way. They work very, very hard, and it was a great lesson as a young guy. But yeah, I wanted to share that one about Joe because I thought that was awesome, and we were pumped that we obviously went on to win it, but that he also got the MVP.
Awesome. Well, you had a couple of goals. I think 3 points in the gold medal game in 2002. Like, where does that game rank for you in terms of, like, man, you were a monster. You're talking about Sakic and Mario, but that was Iggy's spotlight moment too.
Yeah, that the gold medal, that was one of the definitely one of my highlight games of my career. You get in that. We hadn't won in Canada men's hockey for 50 years at that point. Playing the U.S., the U.S. scored first that game. Like, it was back and forth. It was, like, it doesn't matter if you get any goals, points, and anything, obviously, in any of those games, but to be able to score 2 goals, and I think Sakic had like 2 and 2. It was like, our line kind of went off that game. It was pretty neat. It was like, I was a young guy. Literally, you show up to that and you think everyone has, like, that's what's neat when you watch these is everyone's confidence, like they're in the NHL, then they make these teams, but they're still, once you get there, there's roles, and are you going to play a lot? What's it going to be? And your confidence can go a little bit like this. And to be able to be out there in those situations, and like, I remember the first goal, I think I drove back door and I couldn't even see the puck. And Joe fed the puck back door to me, I believe it was. And I couldn't even see it, but it went off my stick and in, and I, on the back door, and I did touch it. I didn't steal it, Connie.
Okay, I believe you.
But I got a one-timer across in the third period, and I think it made it 4-2. And it went up in the air, and off Richter's glove, up in the air, and it was just like slow motion, and it barely went over the line. It was like, it was so cool. It was, but the game literally was like back and forth, all the, Brett Hall scoring, and these are guys that I looked up to, like, on the bus, on watching Rock'em Sock'em hockey at Pee Wee, you know what I mean? Like, they're still in the NHL, and it seems like it's so far off, but when these guys are 20, I'm 12 years old, that you get to the NHL, you're 24, they're only 30, 32, you know what I mean? So playing with these guys, it was like truly, truly, I always keep saying it, but it was like all of a sudden you're out there and it's like a video game. And that was one of the games that I'll never forget. And it was that one. The 10 was pretty special, and obviously with the way it ended. And then first game ever in the NHL. I thought those were probably the 3 most exciting games, I'd say, that I got to play. I'd say Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, but we didn't win, so that kind of put a damper on it.